because they look at the cop as if this cop is going to protect himself. He's going to serve himself. He's not going to serve me. Right. So when I'm thinking about the gun violence, I think about any community, like any community that you have, and you have the judges of the community, right, or the officers of the community, which is what the police represents, and then you have the community, and so the governing comes from you guys. And so we have to abide by what you say. We have to abide by the rules that you guys put in place. But now, if the people that are abiding by the rules are not conducting the rules, do you think that that plays a part as to why it can filter down into the communities that are already struggling with abiding by the rules, but then when they see sort of corruption or maybe misguided justice happening to them, they say, well, I ain't got to listen to them. Like, do you think that to curb the violence, we have to see a better face than what we are currently seeing? If that makes sense, if you understand what I'm saying.
I think I know what you're saying. What I think, to combat that, or having having conversations like this, going to different meetings. I mean, this is my first meeting here.
Okay.
You guys been around for a while here.
2017.
Right. So
7 years, right?
Inviting us to meetings like this is great. We invite you to our meetings. We have every monthly meetings at PSA 5. Yeah. I'm sure one of you guys or some of you guys have been there.
Right.
It's open to everybody. It's an honest conversation. You get to speak to our commanding officer. She tells you the stats of what's happening in the community. What are we doing to combat that? And again, it's something that we should be having, and we should be having more of it. Conversations like this help. You know, you can see perspectives of what we do.
Yeah, one more question, and I know we want to introduce the other lady that's joined us today. And not to say that'll be the last question, but I do want her to get in there as well. After you have the conversation, is there any revised training that you do to the patrolmen? So that maybe their conduct in the community.
We have training all the time.
Okay, because the reason I ask is, of course, we always hear the stories of the brutality or false arrests or false shootings and stuff like that. So we be wanting to know. I know when I was riding over here, I'm like, okay, and this ain't, when I make the statement, it's in general, right?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
We can always witness when it's a white ethnicity.
Right.
There's a more kindness, a more patience with them.
Okay.
And then when it's us, though, it's like, hurry up, get on the car, or shoot you first. They don't think their safety first. So it's almost in essence, we can see the protect and serve of other ethnicities, of them being protected, of them being served, but we don't see it filtered to us. And again, the reason why I ask these type of questions, because I agree that there's a lot of violence in New York. That's why we're in New York. That's why we go out on the streets and teach. That's why we do all the things that we do. But we also know that we have to walk circumspectly. Like, we can't be out here being unrighteous, telling other people to be that way. So we have to be fair. So do you think that plays a part? Because when you made a point to say that y'all do the training, but we would want to see more of that in real time. So do you think that you see that? Because maybe you can give us shed some light on that if you see that or not.
I mean, yeah, again, and when I speak again, it's something from my perspective. We get training all the time. Okay. If it's going to the police academy to get training, or it's on the computer where we get refreshers on training, we strive to do a perfect job. I mean, again, it's not a perfect situation that we always get into, but we strive for perfection. I know from being in the department for 18 years, it's changed a lot, and I'm talking about in regards to getting more training for our cops, getting better equipment. I mean, overall hiring, we get I guess paperwork on it. How we try to hire more cops from our community, where we come from. I'm talking about black or brown.
Right.
So the job has changed a lot. and it's changing every day. And again, training, we don't stop training.
Okay.
We don't stop training. And you know, it's something that the department really does well. You know, and again, training, we do it all the time. So it's something I can't speak bad about that, because we train all the time.
So you're saying you guys are putting it on an effort?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we would
Absolutely.
just, okay.
100%.
So we're going to mark today. We're going to see if we see it out on the street.
Yeah, listen, and invite me more to these meetings. I'll come and tell you exactly what we're doing and how we're striving for perfection.
Because I think that's like one of the most important things. Like I talk to a lot of people before this, so I knew about this meeting for like maybe 2.5 weeks, right?
Okay.
So I talked to various different people, because I never sat down with police to have this type of conversation ever. So I sat with various people, and they had various opinions and various questions. So I have to ask you all these questions, so when they watch it,
it's only fair.
Right. And so like one of the questions they wanted to know was heavy on them was that how do y'all deal with, so like we all know of cops that have shot people or unalived people, right?
Right.
I'm gonna focus on our ethnicity, because what's your ethnicity, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm Honduran.
Honduran. All right. So I'll focus on our ethnicity, right? And usually when they shoot us, usually we don't get indictments or we don't get the justice, and then they're able to get another job somewhere else. So how does the police force deal with that? Because we would think that there was a story of a sister that she had ran over a kid by mistake. She was a school bus driver, and the child was mentally challenged, darted out in front of the bus, she ran her over, right? And so it was deemed an accident, it was deemed no fault to her. She was allowed to go back to work, but she could not drive that car again because of the challenge of, am I gonna hit a kid again? So how does the cop that unalives like a Tamir Rice or something like that, how do they get to just go right back to work? Wouldn't they also suffer like some type of PTSD as well, or like how does that?
I mean, I never been in a situation of that. I know, and it goes back to training. I mean, I believe if you get in a shooting, you definitely talk to somebody. Somebody comes out and talks to you. So the help is there. I'm not sure of the question. So you're asking me if let's say if I get into a shooting, what would happen after that? Like
how is this? Why do you think it's so easy for them to be able to go back to work?
Well, it's not. You don't go back to work a week later, 2 weeks later. It really depends on the cop and the situation, but no, there's some time before you go back out there.
Okay.
There's definitely time. Okay. Specifically, I don't know the time. I've never been in those situations, but you don't go back right away on the street. There's some time before you go back out there.
Okay.
So again, every situation is different. But yeah, from what I see, you don't go back right away.
Okay.
You know, it's not safe for the cop, and it's not safe for for anybody. It's because remember you put yourself in a situation that you probably didn't want to be in, and it takes a lot from for that cop to get back out there.
Okay, one last question. Do you think that there's a difference between how Black and Latino ethnicities are treated as opposed to white ones by police force? And do you think that plays a part?
You're asking if I've seen it?
Yeah, do you believe that?
I don't believe it. The only reason I say that, and again, it's because of my experience, the 18 years, I've never witnessed that. I never seen anybody get special treatment, as you want to call it.
Right.
Does things happen? Probably. I never seen it personally.
So you've never witnessed it yourself?
I never witnessed it.
But what about the
and I think it's a very small majority or incident.
So you think it's even though you haven't witnessed it, you would say it's a small majority?
Listen, anything's possible, right?
Okay.
I mean, I mean, again, from my situation, from what I've never witnessed, I've never been in a situation like that. So I can't really speak of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and again, you know, the job changes a lot. So, you know, it does, you know, from the 18 years I've been, it's changed a lot in regards to having more opportunities.
Okay.
You know, better training for us, and you know, and the work is there because I've witnessed it. You know,
Gotcha.
and I've seen a lot of change in this community.
No problem.
They're very open to us from when I first started.
Okay, so I want to introduce the young lady over here, and then also, you know, if y'all want to ask a question, car designer car.
You got me for a couple more.
Okay. So you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Stephanie Thompson. I'm just a resident in the area.
Okay. So we want to get your feedback off of either what you've heard or on the subject of gun violence. See, she has an Android.
Yeah, I'm writing down what you guys are saying so I can bring it back to the residents. So.
Okay, so
we know each other.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you didn't have no questions. You were just writing down what we were talking.
I'm writing down what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get to. Like,
as you can sense in the hostility in Lewan's voice, I call myself a community villain.
Okay, well, explain that.
I come in and I ask questions. I ask questions around what's happening and how it's affecting us. That would be short term or long term. In that, I'm writing down what y'all was saying because I'm going to bring it up again to Lewan. Hopefully at one of our resident meetings. So I live in public housing in the area, and I was interested to see what you guys were doing because I know that you guys are from the west side.
Right.
Y'all are not from the east side. So
no, our school. This is our school.
I didn't know that. I thought you guys were just on the west side.
Well, we teach. Well, okay, so we teach on 125th and Lenox. So what would that be? That would be considered west side? Yeah. Okay. So we teach there on Saturday, but our classes are Monday through Friday here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
but I wouldn't consider us east or west side. I would just say we're hard.
Can we say y'all in the middle?
Okay, all right. You want to call us in the...
No, when I see you guys, I see y'all on the west side.
Okay.
So, and then even when it was sent to me to come and see about you guys, it was like, no, they're west side. They're not east side. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go and see.
Yeah.
But it's nice to hear the conversation and I guess watch you guys bridge the gap. To kind of piggyback off of what Lewan is saying, he and I work together in the community.
Okay.
I sent him a lot of emails. That's why he said I got questions. I actually don't have any. I always have good questions, but as of right now, I don't have any questions. I'm just kind of taking down what you guys are talking about. But I appreciate y'all having the conversation. Thank you.
No problem at all. Okay.
Me? No. Oh, go ahead.
How you doing, sir? My name is Sarnetta, representing the HOK. And it's kind of hard for me to take you serious when you say that you have worked for 18 years and you have not experienced any racism or anything going on in the police department. It's kind of hard for me to take you serious. So first I would like to ask you about the blue wall of silence, because we just had a show yesterday and we was talking about the blue wall of silence and good cops and bad cops. And I stated that there's no such thing as a good cop if he's involved with the blue wall of silence, because if he sees something going on in the department, his orders is to keep his mouth shut. Don't say nothing about it. I'll give you an example. I was walking down the street last week and there was 2 cops outside. So I asked them the question. I said, "Excuse me, officer, what do you think about the shooting of the woman who they say had the pot of water?" You familiar with that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
and the cop shot her, and he just cut me right off and got in the car and drove away. So that right there, I said, see, that's that blue wall of silence. How are we going to call him a good cop? And he can't even talk to me in my own community about that situation. Can you please address that thing? Thank you.
Okay. Again, and when I speak, I'm speaking in regards to my situation. I can't speak for the department, the whole department, but in the 18 years that I've worked, I did my whole career here in PSA 5, right up the block. I personally haven't witnessed anything that's, I would say, racist or discriminative. Again, I'll tell you a little bit about me. I worked here 18 years. I did pretty much every single job there is to do in the precinct. I never felt that. I never felt that I didn't get the right opportunity. If I applied for something, I pretty much got it. Again, I've been promoted to detective. I've been promoted again to second grade detective, and speaking for myself, I haven't witnessed that. Would I tell you? Absolutely, I would. There's no reason to hide it. There's no reason to not let you guys know if something happened to me personally on this job, but it hasn't. I haven't had to. I would say my career's been up and down, but to say that I wasn't given opportunities because of what I am or who I am, I can't tell you that. Okay, I mean, it might be hard for you to believe me, but again, speaking from my personal experience, from what I've seen, every single person that I work with has been professional. I mean, again, we're human beings. We have bad days. I let you know that we have bad days.
If I could, based on the question that Sanetta had, which I thought was a good question, it represents what I was saying earlier.
Right.
You're here with us.
Right.
And so you give us your experience. So you're the guy that's like, okay, I want to improve this.
Right.
But then we got the patrolmen.
Right.
And if I use Sanetta as an example, you would answer it, but the training that the patrolman gives him that blue shield, and then he just walks away.
Well, again, everyone in the department has a different job.
Mm-hmm.
My job is to come to meetings like this.
Right.
Talk about different things. Again, if I can't answer something,
no, I ain't speaking that. I'm not speaking about your position. I'm speaking about your spirit.
Okay.
What I'm talking about is your spirit is to improve communications in the community. You're going to conduct yourself in a manner that protects and serves.
Okay.
But then you have the patrolmen that if they get asked a question in the community, they're going to hop in the car.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying now? So the spirit that he experienced, that's the more common spirit that we in the community are used to. Whereas your spirit is the anomaly. Like if we had more of you out there, maybe it might be a better communication between the community.
Right.
And the reason why I stress that so much is because the black and brown experience with police plays as much part into the violence as the violence, meaning black and brown do commit crimes. Nobody would ever deny that. But if the protect and served actually protected and served the community as opposed to just protecting and serving themselves, it could actually reduce it. And the reason why I say that, I'm going to use my organization as an example. We go out and grab all of the brothers that are here today that's going to be here because we have like this whole event, so a lot of people are coming. And so you'll be around brothers that were committing crimes or would be criminals, whether they were arrested for or not. And then they come in here, and because of the righteous judgment that we give, it makes them say, okay, I can stop. So if the guy that Sanetta talks to is on a patrol and doesn't have the spirit to actually protect and serve, it keeps the tension. It doesn't relieve the tension, if you follow what I'm saying.
Right. I think I know what you're saying.
Okay.
So, I mean, again, I'm not there in every situation. I understand the question that you're saying and the point that you're trying to make, that you're making. And again, that comes with training. A lot of the cops go get training in regards to how to handle the public, or it's again at the end of the day, it comes down to the individual, right? And from my perspective and where I work at, because I only work here, my whole career I've done here. Right here. We have a lot of great cops that work there. Can they improve in how we talk to the public? Absolutely, I can too. But you know, to say that that we don't need that, or that we can't do better, it's a lie. We could do better, you know. And I'm pretty sure anybody could tell you that. You know what I mean? We could do better, and that's the main goal, to strive to do better. And it starts like with these meetings. I mean, this is the first time I've ever sat down here, and spoke to I guess your organization.
Right.
And I, to be honest, I was kind of excited and kind of nervous. I was like, oh, you know, I was like, I don't know, but I'm here. I'm here. I'm not, you know, that's my job. I'm here. I mean, you know, my job is also to take the criticism.
Yeah,
take everything you're telling me. Go back, tell the captain, listen, these were their questions. Mm-hmm. You know, this is how I answered them, but I'm sure she could have answered them a little better. Right. You know, but. Again, it starts here. These conversations are, you know, as bad as we don't want to have them, we got to have them.
Yeah,
you know,
and you got to get that.
You got to get
criticism, right? And I think that's the only way that it's going to work.
And she comes to a lot of our meetings.
Yeah.
And she, you know, she don't hold back. And listen, we appreciate that.
She shot a day though.
No. Listen, she's good. Yeah, that's part of the job. You got to come out here to these meetings and take the good with the bad. And a lot of the time it's bad, but you know, it is what it is. Yes.
Thank you, I appreciate it. My name is Captain Akkad Abariam of the Israel School UBK. I just wanted to know, in your experience, you know, I know you're a detective now, but in your experience as a patrolman and, you know, supervising other police officers, seeing the obvious racial inequalities amongst black and brown individuals, has that ever affected you either being more effective in your position or in a positive way for the community, or is it more effective for, like, New York City, for example, like seeing the racial inequalities, the conditions that we live in here, and seeing when things like crime does happen, does it help you or hinder you from being effective to be more positive in the community, or is it more negative?
Well, I mean, I think just me going out there and being who I am and doing my job, that I'm taking control of how I want my community to be. You know, I want everyone to live well. You know, I don't want people to not have a unsafe neighborhood walking home at night. You know, that's why I became a cop. I wanted to change a lot of the stuff that I thought happened in the department. But I mean, again, from my experience, as I was growing up, I'll just go back. There was a cop in my neighborhood. Her name was Officer Halsey. I still remember her. She was tall black woman, right? And she came to our PAL. Always, I was wondering why she always came there, right? And what it was is she had an investment in the neighborhood. Her son lived there. She didn't live there because a little background. Sorry, her son lived there with her mother. So her son, I was like, why is she always here? Because she had an investment. She had her son there. She wanted to make sure that her son was always safe, and she wanted to make sure that all the kids around her knew that she was approachable. You know, so I mean, that always stuck to me back in my head. I when I go to these neighborhoods and to the community centers in the neighborhood, I always try to make myself approachable. If anybody has a question, it doesn't matter. I answer any questions that pretty much these kids have. You know, and it's always the same question: how much money you make? Have you ever killed somebody? You know, you ever arrested anybody from your family? You know what I mean? And you know, these are questions that a lot of, you know, they have and they're interested in. You know what I mean? And for me, to not answer questions like that will make me not approachable. Will make me, you know, I don't know. It's just to answer your question. I'm trying to make the change from the inside doing what I do. that's all I can do. I can't control other cops. I can't really, see their point of view, how they want to do this job. I can only speak by myself. And how I come to work every day is just try to make a little difference each day. I mean, and again, it comes with the bad and it comes with the good. But I just want to leave here letting you guys know we're human beings too. I have problems. I got problems at home, man. I got problems here, there, everywhere. But you got to come to work and have a little bit of separation. You can't that professionalism. Can't bring what's that saying? You can't bring bad to your job or something like. I don't know, but I definitely try to separate myself, from my personal to my work, because I think that's the only way you could do it, and you could do your job effectively.
Right. Have you ever said to yourself, going out there and trying to make it better? You know what I mean? Just going out there every day trying to make it better, and once again just seeing that. A lot of things that go on here, what I'm saying, when you have to make these arrests and your other officers have to make these arrests, has it ever appeared maybe you thought to yourself that this is strange, this doesn't happen in other parts of New York where there's not this oppression, where there's not this inequality, where you say to yourself that this happens here but it doesn't happen in Manhattan? Have you ever asked yourself, why is that?
Again, working here and only here, I can only answer. I don't know the difference. What the quality of arrests are in Lower Manhattan. I know here, it's. I mean, from I could let you know from the 18 years I've been here, our arrests have been up and down. Since a lot of the changes have been made between the law and how we started policing, it's definitely, I've seen the change of our arrest value. So I honestly can't speak about arrests that are happening downtown because I'm not there. I don't work there. I can't answer that. So yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe if you come to our meetings. And that's a great question for a captain to answer, because she's been around, and she probably could tell she's worked in the Bronx, Manhattan. So that's great questions for our captain or any other supervisors that have worked everywhere else. So that again, that's something that's a great question, and I invite you to our meeting, which is next September. It's every fourth Tuesday. September. Yeah, I mean, these are great questions. I'm trying my best to answer them, but a lot of these other questions are something that probably a supervisor can answer a little better since they've been around, the other commands. I can only speak about here and what I see.
What's going on? How are you?
What's going on?
Captain Katazai, the Isupk. Thank you for joining us today. My question would be, so I heard you say you were excited and nervous to be here.
Right.
And my question is, then what is, I guess, either your department's or law enforcement's, I don't want to say reputation, I guess perception of our organization. And I guess I'm asking from the nature of, I don't know if you remember the first time we ran into Doggy Diamonds, he's like, man, you guys listen to hip hop? So I don't always know what the perception is, because a lot of the times people don't know about our community outreach. They don't know about our prison programs. They don't know about our food drives, our community cookouts, clothing drives, so on and so forth. They only know us for what they perceive to be, yelling on a mic on the corner. And I'd hate to put it like that, but that's the stereotype they get. So I'm just wondering from your paradigm what it would be.
Well, welcome to my world.
I understand.
You just answered my question, but I grew up in Midtown Manhattan, okay, 42nd Street. So I used to pass a lot of you guys, right? 42nd Street.
Yeah.
And young kid, that all I heard, all I seen is you guys talking. Having a crowd around you talking. That's all I knew, that you guys are talking. I didn't know what you were talking about. I didn't know, as a kid. I know now, what's the, but those are my first memories of, the organization, when I grew up in Midtown. No, I know that you guys do a lot for the community. I seen it. Again, driving around here, I see you guys giving out clothes, food, and you guys are always out. So I honestly, and I don't have anything negative or bad to say about you guys, because I didn't really know too much about you. I knew you guys were out there. You're not doing anything bad, just, serving the community. So that's my perspective of you guys. I never ran into you guys. Never, and I'm talking about job wise and personal. I never had anything bad, so I can't really say.
I got you.
You know what I mean? But my earliest memories of you guys were when I was young, walking around in Times Square.
Yeah, how's it going? I'm Priest Shagapan with the Isupk. I want to say thank you for being here, Detective Lujan. A few questions. One, you are PSA 5, correct? That is for the housing of New York City?
Yeah, we cover the 2-3, the 2-5, and the 2-8 housing, just housing.
Now, I grew up here in the projects here in Spanish Harlem, and growing up, it was always pretty rough. So I know you said you've been working with this particular precinct for 18 years.
Yeah.
I would like to know, what have you seen change from the time that you started working in these particular housing developments, and what would you like to see the community be more involved in to make them better?
Okay. So the change I've seen in the community, up and down. I've been doing this position a little bit longer than being on patrol, so I can speak about how the community's opened up a little bit more towards us. I've seen it in the difference in the attendance in our meetings. I've seen it in we have an auxiliary program, and it's called a YCO program now. It's where we get kids to come into the precinct, and we teach them different things, and we take them to different places. So I see a big improvement on that, on kids coming into the precinct, and their parents pretty much opening it up and letting us have their kids and taking them out. I've seen changes in that. I've seen a big difference in, I would say, I would say in our arrest, we've gone down a lot in arrest in our precinct. Our shootings and our crimes have gone way down from the time I've been here. So it's not to say it's not happening, but from our perspective and from how we go to these jobs, I've seen a lot of big difference in that. But the most I want to say it's how the communities has been open to us. Again, coming to our meetings and we go into their meetings. I've seen a difference in between that.
I want to bring it back to questions that I've been asked to ask, right? And Sanetta reminded me. It was the Sonia Massey shooting. You're familiar with that,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So now, in a
not too much, but I know just for what everyone.
Yeah, just what everybody saw. She threw the water.
Yeah.
The cop shoots her. I think the cop called it a B word after she was already shot. I don't know if you saw that part. But the officer was with another officer, right?
Okay.
So, in a good cop's position, what do you think, not the cop that shot Sonia Massey, but the cop that's partnered with him, what could he have done to prevent that? Like him seeing, like and I'm asking you because you're an officer, you have experience, so you see the woman, she's kneeling on the ground, she got the water, y'all are far away, tasing is an option. What do you think his responsibility is once he sees this observation taking place, if he's a good cop?
Well, Well, I mean, again, obviously, from my we're Monday quarterbacking this, right? So, I mean, this is something that happened. And happened pretty quick. I'm not justifying what that cop did.
No, that's why I'm not putting you in the position of the shooter. I'm putting you in the position of what the partner should have done. What are you like? What you in that position?
I mean, Monday
especially
quarterback.
And I want you to answer from a good cop protecting and serving the people.
I mean, there's different things that could have happened there. Again, he could have told his partner, "Hey, let's go outside. Keep her in there in the apartment and have backup call come." He could have stepped in and told him, "Hey, listen, let's try this. Let's mace her or whatever." You know what I mean? Like, there's a few things that could have happened in that seconds that happened there, But again, it's hard to put yourself in that situation because that's dumb. Okay. I mean, I don't. What happened there was a tragedy. It should have never happened.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, his partner could have done. He had a few options that he could have done. But again, I mean, it's hard to put yourself in. Who knows what he was thinking?
Right. And so this one, I'm gonna be like your girlfriend over there. They call a bad guy. Because then I'm gonna go back. Because like when I'm thinking of a good cop, protect and serve, I'm gonna compare Sonia Massey to a video I saw. So you obviously didn't see this video. I'm just gonna paint the picture for you. Okay. So the video that I saw was this white lady. She walks into a police department in Pennsylvania. It was 11:30 a.m. They said the police department was closed. She walks in there with an open gun. Okay. She's banging on the glass at first. With the gun, banging on the glass. Then she's shooting at the glass, but because of course you got the bulletproof glass, it doesn't penetrate. Then she sits down, she grabs her phone, she's on the phone, then she walking through the house, just gonna be walking through the police station. So then the cops finally come in there. As the cops come in there, it's like she's around the corner, so they creep around the corner and tase her. They don't shoot her. So when we talk about the shield or the difference or the way blacks and Latinos are treated. I saw this video because when the Sonia Massey came, it galvanized America. No matter what you thought about it, it galvanized America because you see this woman rebuking in the name of Jesus. She has water. She gets shot. Yeah. And so when I see this video, that's almost like black and Latinos experience where we expect to not. And then the other part, caveat we got to add is she actually called the police. Right. So she's calling them for protection, help. For help, and then she ends up dying, as opposed to this. In contrast, this other white woman shoots up the police station in the police station, and they tase her. So when you say like the training you was mentioning earlier, like what? And I don't know if you can answer, but I have to ask you because you're an officer. I'm not an officer. But what can be done or changed to make, if not the cop that shoots her, but the second cop should have tased him or pulled him. Like what? When can we see the true good cop that actually could protect and serve in a scenario like that?
Well, I mean, again, from it's hard to put yourself in what the hell these guys were thinking about. You know what I mean?
Right.
That other scenario will show. I mean, it sounds crazy that somebody just walks into a precinct with a gun.
It wasn't on YouTube.
I know. I'm gonna have to look it up later. But I mean, a lot of things could have been done differently with that situation.
Right.
They
did that right. They protected they tased it.
Again, I don't know. I mean, it just sounds crazy that she's walking to a precinct with a gun out. But I mean, I believe you, but a lot. I mean, that cop is from the first incident you were talking about. His partner. I mean, I'm sure they're going to be going through that video and playing that video over and over to cops in that department, and showing them, listen, this is how to definitely do something different with that scenario. You know, when something like that happens in our department, a lot of stuff happens in regards to training. We go over everything. So from if that would happen here, I'm 100% sure that training will be coming down very fast after a situation like that, and pretty much we all will get trained on a situation like that. But you know, things like that, and again, I can't put myself in that cop's you know, shoes. But a lot of stuff like that, you know, it depends on how much time you got on. Have you been in jobs like that before? You know, so a lot of things plays you know, in effect to situations like that. Not to justify that, because that was
Do you think, one more thing, and I know somebody want to ask a question, and we'll try to wrap it up. Do you think that being ostracized plays a part in why the partner won't do anything? Meaning, like, let's say if he doesn't side with the shield, and excuse me, I don't want to say shield. He doesn't side with what's right, but sides with the wall. Do you think that fear plays a part in their decision, in a cop's decision making?
It shouldn't, because put it this way: when you go to a job, and I'm talking about here in New York City, me and my partner go to a job, we're in that job together. So whatever I do that'll be messed up, he's getting in it too. You know what I mean? So it's hard to put yourself in that situation. If he was down with that or whatever that guy did, maybe, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they weren't partners. Maybe they were just working for that day together. You know what I mean? Like maybe they didn't even know each other, but they had to work together that day. You know what I mean? A lot of things come in effect. I just want you guys to know that. You know what I mean? Like, I might be working with somebody that I never worked before. Yeah, it happens a lot. You know, I just want you guys to know that if you see a cop out there, he might not be his partner. I might be his partner just for that hour, or for that. You know what I mean? Because his partner went somewhere else, but these are scenarios and things that happen on the job. I want you to know that. Yeah, I mean, listen. It's hard for me to put myself in situations that these cops were in. You know, it's something that. A lot of us dread when we go to jobs. Like, you know, we don't want to be in a situation like that. You know, that we have to, you know, do something crazy or I'm not crazy, but you know, someone's life has to be in danger. You know, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Do your officers get trained to de-escalate certain situations?
Yes.
And the reason I ask that is because whenever you see like a group of officers come out, it could be 10 of them with one person or with two people, you never see an officer walk up to the other one and say, de-escalate, de-escalate. They always pump up each other, and next thing you know, they all going crazy and getting wild. I never heard another officer telling the officer, de-escalate the situation.
Calm down?
Yes, calm down. And then,
with the second cop and then
right. And then when they go to approach him or arrest him, it could be like 5 of them, 6 of them with the knee in the back, and they saying, stop resisting. How can you stop when you got your arm around my neck? You got the other arm twisted. So he's trying to get out of the pain. And y'all yelling, stop resisting, stop resisting. So that's why I'm saying de-escalate it. Move back and say, can you turn around and put your hand? I've never seen it like that.
That's hard to explain because I've been in situations like that where it's a big group and we're pretty much fighting or whatever. Again, it all depends on who your partner is and how he knows you, and how he knows how you get in certain situations and how he knows you get in other situations. When I used to work patrol a lot. Me and my partner had a thing saying, listen, whoever talks first, that's the guy in charge, right? So we knew that, you know what I mean? Everyone has something different. If I'm doing something wrong, he knows what to tell me or how to handle me. If it's going somewhere else that we don't want it to go, he knows when to step in. So again, every cop knows their partner pretty good. You know, it depends if you're working together for a long time. These are things that I've seen in videos, you guys aren't going to see it, but I see it. When a partner,
but you also know that's how you also defend your partner, so he don't get into nothing, you know.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say. Well, if you want to call it defending, that's fine. I would say getting into a situation that no one wants to be in.
I'm talking about defending him where he don't do something where, you know, he can lose his qualified.
Well, listen again.
He can get it to.
But again,
suitcase. That's how you defend your officer.
But listen again. If something happens, if he's doing something wrong, I'm doing something wrong.
Right.
So I don't want to get in trouble. You know what I mean? I'm talking about me. I can't speak to other cops. I can't speak about how they handle situations. Again, how I handle it and how my partner handled it, we had a system. You know what I mean? And again, and a lot of these videos, you won't see it, but I as a cop, I see it. I see how another cop is trying to step in. It's hard to explain. It's really hard to explain because you guys aren't really. It's just to be in the shoes, to put yourself in my shoes is very.
You know what? It's very deep. We really don't understand it because the good cop that steps up, he will be labeled in the force as maybe a snitch or something like that. And now other cops are looking at him. Other cops don't want to work with him because, you know, stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Remember the Mayor Adams?
Yes.
Yes, I know you know the Mayor Adams.
Yeah.
And he was almost assassinated one time.
I didn't know that.
Oh, you ain't know that. Go and look into that history. He was shot by another cop. Not shot, but they shot through his glass in the back seat. Now, I don't know if it was an accident or something, but it was a cop that penetrated the glass in the car, and the glass shattered all in the back of his head. You can see he still got the scars in the back of his head. 100 law enforcement who cared. That's Officer Eric Adams, who is now the mayor of New York City. So that was years ago that happened when he was a police officer. Right. Do the research. You'll check it out. You can see it. Because he was considered a good cop, and he was speaking out for the black community. 100 law enforcement who cared. There was a group of them.
No, I know the organization. Yeah.
I just got two quick questions, if you don't mind. I once again also want to thank you for being here. You know what I mean, and discussing this with us. In that particular situation with Sonia Massey, right? I know you said that wasn't you, and it's hard. If that was you, based on your training, what that officer did, was that an illegal use of force based on your training in New York City?
Yeah.
It was illegal use of force.
Yeah, but the only reason and I think a lot of law enforcement, and it's not a secret, we always go one up. That's the way we were trained. It's not a secret. It's out there. You pull out a knife, I pull out a gun. You pull out a mace, I might pull out my taser. You know what I mean? So we're trained to go one up.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, from that particular situation, and I don't think anyone would disagree with me on this job, that should never have happened.
And my second question is this, right? You had said something that is kind of odd to me, where you said sometimes you're partnered with someone you don't know. And here we understand that two people can't walk together unless they agree, you know what I'm saying? Unless they know each other, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard for you to be forced into a situation where danger is problematic. If you just met the person 2 minutes ago, you know, that's pretty rough.
That's how it is sometimes.
So in that instance, the beliefs of the officers obviously play a role in their decision making. You know what I'm saying? The beliefs. So I just wanted to ask you, well, what do you believe in? You know, we're Israelites. We're a biblical-based organization. I wanted to know, if you don't mind, what do you...
religious beliefs?
What do you believe in?
Well, I was brought up Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
As being a practiced Catholic, I don't go to church every Sunday, but that's how I was brought up. I mean, what do you feel?
I
believe in right and wrong.
Right.
I believe in right and wrong.
Right.
That's simple. You're honest with me. I'm honest with you. You're truthful with me. You don't want to. Well, how to say, you want to mess with me? I'm not going to mess with you.
So as a Catholic, right? As a Catholic, you believe that God loves everyone, or that, so to speak.
I guess so. I mean, yeah. Again, I'm not a practicing Catholic.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't want to put myself out there as that, but
right.
I believe in right and wrong. I believe in right and wrong. I believe everyone has a right to be here, and if everyone has their right to their own business, you know, that's pretty much how I pretty much grew up.
No problem.
I don't have a problem with anybody. You know, somebody has a problem with me, that's fine.
Well, I just want to ask just you in general, being that, you know, you took in a job where you have to be selfless. You know what I'm saying? Being a police officer, you must be selfless. That's what all officers, you signed up to go into danger.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like a negative for a police officer to want to defend themselves when you signed up to defend somebody else. So I just wanted to know, you know what I'm saying, as far as beliefs, okay, usually Christians or Catholics, they believe that the Most High God loves everybody. You know what I'm saying? So in that situation with Sonia Massey, if God loves the man who used illegal force, how does he show love to Sonia Massey?
Okay. I didn't understand the question. I'm sorry.
Meaning, usually, people in Catholicism or Christians or things like that, they believe God loves everybody. That's what everybody believes. What do you believe in? They not in
Well,
it.
listen. This is how I'm going to answer that. Everyone who comes on this job has to separate themselves from religion, from everything. You're here to do a job. You're here to protect and serve, and no matter who you are, no matter what you are, you know. So, again, speaking for me, I don't have issues with anybody. When I come to the job, I answer a job. I don't care who's behind that door. I'm going to do my professionalism. I'm going to help you if I can, and that's it, and move on. So that's pretty much how I handle it.
If nobody else has a question.
I'm waiting for this one.
For Lewan, I just want to go back to the community involvement and the evolving of like PSA 5 in the developments. You know where I'm at, and you know what it looks like. Yes. I don't think, and maybe I missed it, but what do you think needs to change in order for the community to be better as far as PSA 5 being in the public housing developments, and what do you think it'll look like in, let's say, 5 years?
5 years goes fast.
I know.
Knowing from where you are, I think you know, working around this area, I honestly think every NYCHA development needs a community center, like a nice community, a good community center. I think that makes a big difference. I mean, it's not the only answer, but it does make a difference in...
To interrupt really fast,
yeah.
What developments are you comparing? So, like, let's say if we say Wagner...
Well, not all developments have a community center. That's
right.
what I'm saying.
My development personally doesn't. We have a daycare.
Yes. Children's center. Yes.
It's not a children's center. It's a daycare. You guys definitely need a community center. And again, I'm talking about, I honestly believe that every single development needs a community center. The only reason I say that is because I see the difference when one doesn't have one and one does. I don't want to name names. I know.
I don't want to name names. But, you know, if you're from the area, you know who has them and who doesn't. You know, it's not the answer to gun violence or anything like that, but it does help out. It really does.
So you see there's a difference. You think there's a difference in the quality of life if there is a community center in the developments?
It's a different
atmosphere.
Atmosphere. I would say no. I would say it's a difference in regards to. I mean, it helps quality of life. Okay. I mean, a lot of the kids who don't have a center always outside, right? You know, the developments that have a center, those kids are mostly inside that center, and keeps them busy, and that's a good thing. That really is a good thing. Again, when I grew up, I had a PAL right next to me, so I was there all the time in that PAL. You know, and then I left. But I honestly, working in this area, I do think that makes a big difference. If a development had a community center, and also the people that work there. You want really good people that are invested in that community, that want to make a change and want to see a change. So
I think it's always important to have people from the community working in
absolutely,
those places.
Absolutely,
because it makes a difference.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, that was my only one. Thank you.
Okay, I have a question pertaining to the young men in particular, because I'm familiar that a lot of the violence that happens within our communities, it's a lot of young men that are committing these particular crimes. Yeah, young men of color between like the ages of 12 and 18, 19 years old.
12 to 19.
Yes, because I grew up in Lakeview Complex. Across the street was the Carter houses. Across the street was the Taft. Then you had Lehman. Then you had Jackie Robinson High School. You had Schaumburg 3 blocks down. So there was always a lot of gang activity and drug activity that happened when I was growing up. And it always seemed looking back, a lot of us didn't have men in our lives to like lead us and guide us. What would you think can help turn that issue around with the young men not having guidance that they desperately need, and how that could affect the violence in the communities we live in?
Well, I mean, going back to what I was saying before, you need somebody. You need a mentor. You need somebody to talk to. I know as a young kid, why do kids go into gangs? Because they don't have anybody, right? I mean, that's pretty much the same answer, right? That you hear? They don't have anybody to talk to. They don't have family. They don't have friends. So they join something to be part of something. So you definitely need individuals like yourself to go out there and talk to them. We need more cops going out there and talking to these kids. Believe it or not, a lot of individuals like that come to our precinct and ask us to how they can help. Hey, I just came home. I did 15. I want to change. I want to do something. They come and I had those conversations with individuals like that. So I mean, it takes people that want to do it to be out there and talk to these kids. Honestly.
So I don't think he's the right person to direct that question to. And the reason I'm saying that is because you said you lived in Lakeview, right?
Correct.
I'm in Taft. I've only been up here a couple of years. And, I talk to them a lot because the stuff that's going on in the developments it's too much. It's too much for me when I'm paying my rent on time. It's too much for me when I walk my trash around the corner where it's supposed to go. Like, it's little things like that. But to piggyback off of the men in the community, you guys should be that. He don't live here. Where you live? You going? No, I'm messing with you. I think it's more of those things where it's like, you're from the community, right? You should be outside engaging with the young men. And the reason I'm saying that is because he's not from our community. He don't know. He work here. He go home. He don't, you just stated, right? You lived in Lakeview. You know about Carter, Schaumburg, all of those spaces, right? It has to be one of those situations where it's like we're tapping into our own community and pulling these young boys in. I just had a conversation today with one of the community barbershops, right? They're starting a mentor program for boys in the community. I always talk about my son, right? I have a 15-year-old. He's an alien. He likes Pokemon. He is an anime kid. He don't like sports. He's very, the ball goes like that. It don't go up. It goes. But it's one of those situations where it's like, I acknowledged as a black mother, right, that my kid grew up in the East Village and moved to Harlem. He don't know the community. So I have to slowly introduce him to it. I connected him with the barbershops and certain programs within the community to get him acclimated in so that he's accepted. Because that's the other thing. If you're not accepted in the community, they don't mess with you. He's not going to be accepted in our community. He's not from here. He don't live here. He work here. And I can't stress that enough. So in me saying that, I know that you guys are tapped in, but even the way that you guys explain the youth, it's not 12 no more. It's 8. It's 7. And he knows what I'm talking about. we have young ones running around the community where they got kicked out of the community center because they was doing stuff they wasn't supposed to be doing, and there is no outlet for them. So it's like connecting and bridging those gaps with the kids. So when I say what I'm saying, I always tell people, be the adult you needed when you were a kid. Because it's too many of us running around where we're so consumed with our lives that we're forgetting that there's still mothers on drugs, there's still fathers in jails, there's still all of these different dynamic for these kids, and they got kicked out of the centers. And I'm saying this, there's a young man in our community, he's the sweetest boy. He got kicked out the community center. I remember having to walk him in just so they would let him play basketball because he wasn't allowed at the after school program because they said he was corrupting the children. And I thought it was unfair, but I understood it. But it was like there was no other outlet for him. Where were we supposed to send him to? So now, how do we keep this kid? Because I know there was an incident where he was fighting with the charter school kids on the block. And I remember breaking up the fights and telling him to stop. But doing some digging, he shouldn't have been kicked out of the program. That was a cry for help. But it's like if you don't know and you're not from the community, you don't know that. So that's why I'm like, I don't feel like he's the right person to kind of direct that to. Granted, it could be a double-edged sword, but it has to be us. We live here. He don't.
Well, if I could, sis, what you're saying is heavy in that Commander Junior Hunter teaches all the time that, you know, once black men stand up in the black community, we will fix our community. You know what I'm saying? But it's a cycle, right? You understand what I'm saying? Black men have fallen to the spurges because of oppression in all of these cities, New York, Chicago, everywhere, you understand? So they are lacking in the homes, you understand? But what the brother was saying, asking the police officer this question, is that the role model definitely has to be there for these young men to look up to. Like here in the Israelite School of UPK, we have multiple programs. Even this officer himself is say your profession for me one more time.
I work with the Administration of Children's Services.
Administration of Children's Services. So as he's going and studying and from a professional standpoint from young to be able to help children at an early age to intervene, and we have multiple brothers in here who deal with it. We also have a Hebrew Academy program, many programs where we teach men how to defend themselves and most importantly, brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? So to an extent, I agree with you saying that that's not a question or a responsibility that needs to solely lie on law enforcement. It definitely is the community. The men in the community will make the greatest effect on the community. The men in the community who understand it and know what's going on. You understand? But it's all going to start with, who are we? Where do we come from? What is the meaning of that? Because that's where it starts.
Well, we appreciate you coming out. We're going to end it here, unless there's anything else that you want to insist. You sure?
Just want to say thank you for having me.
No, we appreciate it. Like I said, this was like a landmark. We've never sat with the police. And it's really thanks to, where the brother at? It's really thanks to, we call him Officer Shargapon, that's his name. Okay. I know you know him as Julian. But this brother has been working with community affairs for about 3 years and making sure that we stay in the community. He's the one that spearheaded the food drive that we had back in December. So clothing drive, the clothing drive back in December. Yeah, so he spearheaded that. So I want to thank you for coming out. I want to also thank Netta, and also thank the other filmographer for coming out and checking us out.
Appreciate it. And again, our precinct is open.
Yeah.
You guys want to come there and talk with us? Vice versa, come back here and talk to you guys. Maybe next time I have more officers with me. Nope. So again, but I appreciate the time and the questions that you guys have, and thank you.
Yes, thank you.